do or what you play. He said it's the intention behind it. When I was playing something earlier, I didn't think of the notes, so to speak. I thought of a feeling, and then I expressed that feeling in a movement, which is also known as kinesthetic energy. In our last presentation, we tapped into the 9 types of intelligences that is identified in a book by Garner called Garner's 9 Types of Intelligence. I recommend it, but I'm going to ask you guys to light up the chat. Can you guys tell me a type of intelligence? Maybe we've experienced some in this Zoom already, but what is a type of intelligence you know? Linguistic. Of course, for all our language learners right there, linguistic, the communication of the words, the verbatim, but also in our linguistic is our tone, right? If I say hello or I say hello, right? I am communicating something different. Ability, musical, yes. Why I like to start with music is I get nervous to speak or get my foot in my mouth sometimes, so I can say something with a melodic phrase or a rhythmic phrase that tells a lot about how I'm feeling without having to say a simple word. Communicative, yes. Intrapersonal, you guys are experts right here. Extrapersonal, yes. Naturalist, so nature, yeah. The ability to look at someone's emotions, to connect to other people. And why I mention these is sometimes it's not so much about thinking of a million different lessons or activities, but maybe communicating one idea or theme that you have using multiple intelligences. That was something that we dove into in our last session. So maybe if you're doing an activity for, let's just say, public speaking, right? Maybe instead of just doing one activity that engages someone through the verbal way, right? Maybe there's a way that someone can do public speaking in a musical way. Maybe you could have a student come in from the classroom and say, ba 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 ba. And even though I didn't use words, I used a cadence, I used a rhythm, I used a tone. And one thing I've observed working with a lot of different populations, a little bit of my history is, not only have I worked with traditional forms of education like in high schools with Armin, but I've also worked in detention centers, psychiatric facilities, as well as different spaces where populations, I don't like to use the term at risk or that, I don't feel that defines them, but to work with populations that have certain needs. And of course kinesthetic is there too. So if we're zoomed out, I'm going to ask you guys to take part in this little activity right now. Through your own screen, using your body, make a motion that describes how you're feeling right now. I think I'm doing like this. I'm feeling like this. I'm feeling like a circle kind of expanding up and down like a jellyfish almost. I think that's where I'm at right now. Yeah, nice. I see Louise is stretching. She might have had a long day and might be needing to. Armin's slowing things down. He's pumping the brakes. Let's see what else we got over here. I see somebody. Evo is getting ready for nap time. I know it's 3 a.m, he said. I'm seeing fingers in a meditative position. I'm seeing hands stretched out behind their backs. And this is all kinesthetic learning information, guys. A lot of times in our classrooms, in our schools, and in our Zooms, we default to looking for verbal answers. I've heard the theory that over 90% of communication is non-verbal. So why would we focus so much as educators on just one style of learning and one form of taking in things and speaking it back? You guys' body movements right in this chat just told me so much, right? I hope some of the music told you so much in the beginning. And I just want to give that as a little tidbit to encourage you guys to think of how you're engaging those different intelligences. I remember I used to carry a little sticky note in my pocket and I would check off, did I do something kinesthetic? Did I do something musical? And I would notice which ones I leaned toward and which ones I would leave out. And then, maybe I would use that as a way to adjust. So to start off, I'm going to show you guys a little video. This was taken in California, one of our more progressive states where arts and education have now been accepted within some of the forefront. I'm going to show you guys a little bit of documentation on that as well. But if you guys give me the green light to share screen, Armin, I will pull up this video and then hopefully give me a thumbs up if it plays well, and then I will let you guys see some of the work in action where I was actually working with an English group and history teacher in California. So once again, sometimes people think the music people just come into music class and art class, but arts have and sound has been really, really a developmental tool to help me connect with more traditional educators and teachers. Okay, Armin, is it okay to share?
You're all good. Louis, just double checking with Louise. Is there anything else we need to intro with
Any
why, or we can just
housekeeping?
jump into
Yeah.
it?
I think we can just keep going as people get on the call. Please introduce yourself and welcome. Please welcome Why. He's our invited speaker today, a great educator and facilitator, and we're so happy just to learn and absorb.
All right. Okay, guys, I'm gonna share my
Away.
screen.
Share away.
Okay, team, I'm gonna load this, let it load a little bit. And you guys just give me a green light if audio's coming in. Get rid of this.
No audio. No. You want to send me the video, or sometimes you have to share the audio of. We don't hear it. Why?
Okay, I'm gonna drop my screen. I'm gonna give you the link. And then I did click share sound. But once again, another way is teamwork is dreamwork, guys. And I am gonna pass this link to Armin to share. Art has the power to change
Oh, we heard something.
feels purpose driven. Is that through my microphone? I'm gonna give you the link in the chat.
Okay.
And then you let me know if you're able to do that. And we're gonna watch this video. So why I say teamwork is dreamwork is as educators, sometimes we feel like we have to have everything right. This is not the truth. We can let go of that notion and we can exercise what I think is the most valuable tool for an educator, which is vulnerability and honesty. You can also relinquish power. I'm relinquishing my technological abilities to Armin for support. And I think this is another very, very simple yet powerful tool that we may not think of. Some of us as educators are nervous about using technology in the classroom, but some of your students have a strong grasp of that. And it might be a great idea to allow them to take leadership responsibilities in that. And you can play a student role in learning. And that might be asking them what kind of song they listen to or what music describes their feeling without just asking them a direct verbal question, you know? One I like to use is, if you had a superpower, what superpower would it be? And these things are very telling. If someone would like to use invisibility or something. Okay, Armin, let me know if that video is able to play for you. And then you guys will hear some examples from some other educators. I want to show some live action shots. And then I'll go into the next part. But I'm really appreciative. And while we do that, I also wanted to speak on lesson planning. I create lesson plans for things, including this workshop, but also I know that I create them to deviate from them. When certain energies happen and certain things create a natural occurrence, I will flow with that instead of being so married to my lesson plan and not allowing the natural flow of this to happen. Okay, nice.
Okay.
I'm going on mute.
I'm ready for action.
Do you think we'll be able to compose our own music and beats together? As a professional, I see that there is a need to bring in the arts into the classroom. Art has the power to change the world. Creative expressions builds purpose-driven community through the arts, creating environments for self-expression and problem solving. Did he tell us information? Yes. Did he kill the flow? Yes.
I'm not really big into multiple choice tests or answers. My kids are often project based.
Instead of just writing an essay, you get to pick a beat.
We lost the connection there. They're back.
Well, the link is in the chat, guys, in case you want to
Yeah.
see full glory. But did want to show a little bit of the youth in action as requested by that. But take a look at the video, and then it's all on my website. But pretty much, guys, the premise of that video that I was showing you guys is that. Ooh, I'm muted. Boop boop. Okay. Thank you, Armin.
I'm
So you
sorry,
can.
why it's not loading all the
No,
way.
no, don't worry, don't worry. We got the link up there, and we will allow it to be. We can get there. Um, but really, what I wanted to let you guys know is with that is how arts is not becoming an extracurricular thing. It is becoming now one of the tools and a pedagogy almost. The same tools that I've used for songwriting and music production are now being looked at in the forefront of education. Right here in New York City, the public libraries have now been giving media kits to students to allow them to get into things such as vlogging, podcasting, music composition, and scoring, because they understand that these fields are now the career opportunities that are coming in for us. Everything that you hear from Netflix to this has music behind it, has sound behind it, has word behind it. The power of word and sound. I'm gonna pull up a written document here that I sent over to the crew that they're gonna email to you guys and or send out in whatever forum you guys got. But what this is really showing is how now the standards that are used to create art are now being brought forward in education. So I'm gonna make another attempt of showing you guys something that is right here, and then this one, it's a let me just find it right here. Boom, boom, boom. Multiple intelligences. Dun, 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 dun. Here it is. Okay, give me 1 second. On my desktop, files, reading material. Okay, here it is. The arts media standards. Drag it up to my second screen. All right, team. Give me a thumbs up if you see those things.
Yeah.
See this? Cool? Great, guys. So, this is used in the state of California, where now educational standards are now being connected to performing arts, music, game design, a lot of the new technological fields. So, for all of you as educators, I really wanted to pass you guys this document because it is showing how these standards, which are known as anchor standards in the state of California, are now being connected to art creation. Whereas before it was almost like a give and take, or arts was looked at as a side piece to education. This document really goes into showing how art meets and even surpasses a lot of the academic standards from a lot of these core things that I'm going to go over right here. Number one is to apply appropriate technical skills and academic knowledge. From me using some of the devices that I'll show you, such as Soundtrap or Anchor, that I know some of you guys have been exposed to, this now becomes a level of technology learning, and it is now the way that we are obtaining and receiving information, which is basically an extended form of communication, which goes to point two, to communicate clearly, effectively, and with reason. Now that we're creating music and those things in the classroom, it allows a student to think intentionally about what words they're choosing, what sound they're making, what motion they're making. And it's those things that really allow us to develop a keen awareness into very, very deep things that really, really connect to academia. Number three is to develop an education and career plan aligned with personal goals. One of the biggest things our students complain about and disengage, whether that be with homework or classwork or these activities, is they do not feel that there's a personal connection to what they're learning in school to what they want to do in their life. And if you talk to most young folk, they will usually say they want to do something that has to do with dancing, singing, music, poetry, drawing, to some degree, or acting. And it's through connecting our work to what their personal goals are where innovation lies. And that brings me to step four, which is applying technology to enhance productivity. Some people were saying that, wait a minute, don't bring this in, we're on the internet too much already. But it's not so much what you're doing, it's why you're doing it, right? You can be using the computer to watch some cartoons or tune out, or you could be using that very same device as a tool for growth. And a lot of times our young people are really, really connected to the tools of their time. So if we as educators are using certain tools that are not able to connect by allowing ourselves to be open and learning from our students who may have a better grasp on certain technologies than we do, you are relinquishing some of your facilitator privilege or power and allowing things to be more participant centered, and also engaging with peer-to-peer learning that can take place beyond the classroom. Number 5 is to utilize critical thinking to make sense of problems and persevere in solving them. As we know, a lot of our schools are not preparing our students for the world that they live in, much less the world of tomorrow. So you're seeing a big rebellion by youth in their ability to retain information in a way that they feel is not applicable. To allow ourselves to grow, we must use critical thinking and find a way to create a happy medium. It doesn't mean we're going to follow everything and do everything in this new way, but a balance is needed, and that balance and that problem solving comes from collaboration, as well as students working together on a lot of project-based work, which is where I come in and do a lot of things like that. The next is to practice personal health and financial literacy. Another part of what I've been doing in the classroom is not only teaching students how to compose music and put together their own vlogs, podcasts, or musical compositions, but we also show them how to monetize those things and how to create revenue from streaming, which before you used to need a big recording studio, used to need a lot of privilege and access, but now with just apps that are coming out on the phone or web-based devices like Soundtrap, which I'm going to show you guys in a minute, you have the ability right there not only to create something that connects to the students, but then can lead to career development and allowing them to feel a sense of value and worth and know that what they create, whether that's a drawing or a musical composition, deserves to be respected, and they can make a living doing what they love, because when you love what you do, you put more effort into it. That brings me into number 7, acting as a responsible citizen in the workplace and in the community. Once we do our work as facilitators and educators, the goal isn't for just students to get an A on the exam or pass 9th grade or the 4th grade or wherever they're at. It's really about giving them information and tools that they are carrying out beyond the classroom. And I challenge us as educators to really ask ourselves that question, to ask, what are we showing them in the classroom that is going to be applicable to their day-to-day lives and also can allow them to build a network with community? Number 8, model integrity with ethical leadership and effective management. That also is something that I'm really near and dear with exposing them to other people within my field of music and arts. I am also giving them an opportunity to witness how other people take this same tool that I'm going to show you guys in a minute and create totally different creations using the same things. The simplest way I could describe it is the 3 primary colors in art keep creating new colors, but it is a mastery of that fundamental foundation that allows our students to really dive into that. Number 9 is to work productively in teams while integrating cultural and global competence. We live in a world that is now thinking global and acting local. Through the internet, look at us in this very Zoom conference. We're able to talk to educators from different countries, different continents, and we all have a different, unique mindset. And really, it's about integrating a lot of this global experience to broaden our perspective on not only education but on ourselves, to know that we are all global citizens, and through using these technologies and sharing information on a global level, we're able to make an exponential growth and allow transformation to occur at a rapider rate than we have ever seen. And then number 10 is to demonstrate creativity and innovation, right? Which is usually what's going to happen. Nothing will stay the same, guys. Our textbooks evolve into different forms of presentations, whether they are PowerPoints or video, and these all are connected to art composition. So I just wanted to go over those 10 with you guys. You're going to have this as a handout, but this book goes in depth for about 52 pages on not only how these things affect art and education, but also how you can integrate them into your lesson planning. So you can use this, I'll just pick a random one. A1.9 is analyzing the material used by a given artist to describe how its uses influence the meaning of the work, right? So if you pull up a poem from Maya Angelou, one of my favorite Maya Angelou quotes would say, "You might not remember what a person said, but you will remember how they felt," right? So imagine you're a teacher and you're focusing so much on what you say and all the words, but what about thinking about how the students are feeling by your presence, how they are feeling by the activities, right? These are all great tools. So that was just something I wanted to show you guys. And before I go on, I wanted to ask you guys if there were any questions I could take from you in regards to implementing art in the classroom. I'm gonna go later on into showing you guys some student examples from a software that does have a free version that I'm gonna put in the chat. And there's also a more educated version that gives you some more fancier tools, but with the basic version you can get a good foundation of what I'm about to show you guys, some original student compositions and how I've been using that, integrating that with day school teachers in the classroom. But want to take a few moments. I feel like I've talked too much, so I want to turn the mic to you guys and ask any questions either in the chat or unmute yourself. Feel free to before we go into the next section, or any things that examples that you guys might have that you can share with the rest of the group, because once again I'm sure you guys have been implementing creativity in some form or fashion. So please take it away.
Anyone can share, or if they're thinking, well, what, I don't know what exactly to say. Y is trying to help us point the direction of teaching in a more creative way. Sometimes, and we all are like this, we kind of teach the same way, and it gets a little tough, right? To do the same thing, however we've been doing teaching. So he's explaining it through the artistic lens, but as teachers of English, we can always use different aspects of the arts. So, I mean, is that what you want maybe people to respond to? Why? How have they thought about using
any
art?
thoughts? It's really about you guys creating some form of, dialogue based on that. Whatever what I said means to you guys, I see what we're seeing. Feel free to write in the chat or mute. Beautiful. But yeah, you guys let me know. It could be, the simplest way I've seen is analytics of writing, where you might pull out the lyrics to a song, pull out the lyrics to a speech or poem, and allow students to read and analyze and reflect on that, right? That's one of probably the most simple ways. There might be even techniques that you guys are using that you might not be aware of already, that you can turn the volume up on and lean a little bit more on that, including playing music in the background of your classroom. And that can change the whole atmosphere and doing those things. But does anybody have anything or any example of it that they've done themselves, or a question on how to implement it? I like to start and end with a song the students like, right? Very simple yet powerful technique. Going in there and creating some form of relatability to your students, and also knowing that when they come into a room and they hear music, it will also engage their mind in active listening. Active listening, what happens with music is we tend to bob our head, we tend to tap our feet, and on a subconscious level it starts preparing us for certain things, whether that's to sing along to a chorus or to clap our hands or to stomp our feet. Music is giving our bodies cues and rhythms. Yes, I saw a nice shake in the Zoom right there. And I really want to encourage you guys to think of simple yet powerful ways. It might be song of the week, where you can have a student pick a song and you guys can analyze how that song connects to their feelings or their thought process. Or you can even get a little funny and say, can you give me a song that describes how this class feels or how your math homework felt? They might play you a heavy metal, da, 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 and then it might give you a cue onto them without asking them so directly. Ba 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 ba, da 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 da, in a traditional way. And you can observe how their body movement goes, how their mannerisms come forward, and it can give you an awareness on how to create a deeper connection to your students, and also foster a connection, peer-to-peer learning, which is when a student will say, I didn't think you liked that song, and then make a discovery about somebody. Like when you create a bond knowing what someone's favorite food is, or if you like the same band, or you both love the drums. These are just ways to create dialogue, which Paulo Freire refers to in Pedagogy of the Oppressed as one of our greatest forms of education, which means a back and forth, which is what I'm hoping from you guys. Give me a little, guys. Give me a little something. Give me something I can riff off of. I'm gonna go on mute. I'm gonna refuse to say anything until
Right.
somebody says anything.
This is always the sleepy group. It's either we want to hear your wonderful teacher voices. Anyone unmute and share an idea based on what you heard that you liked. We'll be quiet.
All right, I'm responding to the chat.
In my case, okay, we tend to show our students songs connected to the topics that we are teaching in, but I have noticed that well, I put that in practice. I have noticed that when you come with a song that they probably like, a current song, for example, let's say a song from the weekend that they love to listen to, right? And start the class just then by hearing the song and feeling that getting relaxed, and do not link the song with the topic at all, not all the time, but sometimes at least. Well, they feel like more energetic, they share more information, they exchange, they interact with the teacher better than for other purposes. So I guess this time we need to do activities like that students feel like comfortable at the beginning or at the end of the class, not all related to studying, just for enjoying and having a relaxed moment. That's nice. You get positive feedback with that. Trust me.
Yes, I love it. See, you guys have the answers. Once again, these things are coming from some things that used to be at the side to being more at the forefront. And it's really about taking something like those activities and prioritizing the engagement and the use of the multiple intelligences through allowing yourself to almost relinquish. So by doing less and speaking less and allowing students to once again take the front, this is what I've called cipher pedagogy, where there is no hierarchy of the teacher and the student. Paulo Freire refers that to the banking model of education, where it is supposed to be the all-knowing educator that if he is or she is a gallon of water, pours a little bit into each student, where it is really a true ecosystem, where the information is also within the students, and they should be given the opportunity to have leadership roles and also tell us about certain things that they have learned through their experience, and for us as facilitators to create a platform or space for that to happen. And a lot of times we might feel like we're not doing our job if we do that, but to actually step back and allow the organic group to create something through a question-based prompt, through a kinesthetic prompt, through a verbal prompt, through a musical prompt. It's also known as call and response. If you guys know in hip-hop, they've always said, when I say hip, you say hop. Hip, hop, hip, hop is also just a form of verbal communication, having each voices echoed. Another simple icebreaker I will use is say your name and something you love. My name is Johnny and I love pizza. Hello, Johnny, you love pizza. That is known as an affirmation, to just affirm something or play back a method that your students already connect to. And if it's as simple as saying they love pizza, they are saying it with a singular voice and an entire group is echoing it back. So say you're in a group of 15 people. One student comes up with a similar, a simple idea. My name is Jessica, I love green. And then, hello Jessica, you love green. 15 voices together, forming a choir to re-emphasize a thought that a person has, does wonders for positive reinforcement, does wonders for intriguing and engaging their senses, because it's not one voice singularly talking to them. It is now a group creating a form of osmosis, where once that group feels a synergy and energy, the group will then start to make, I don't want to say better decisions, but they will start to make more aware decisions, being aware of each other and realizing they coexist in a larger ecosystem, which is known as the classroom, right? So that's a great idea. Does anybody else have any story they would like to share or any example that they use?
Can I?
Yes, I have. Okay, you can. Go ahead, Alice.
Okay,
I
please,
can go after you.
please start, then I will continue.
Okay, no, just sharing an experience I've had with my students when I was teaching in the US. I was teaching Portuguese, and I was also teaching about. I was also teaching about Brazilian culture. And there was a class that we decided to teach our students about a sort of Brazilian cultural dance, which was Roda Africana. It was like had some African influences. And actually, the video decided to show to students so we could actually do the dancing class was a little bit childish. And I was a little bit afraid of students thinking that it was too childish. I was like, is it appropriate to them? But in the end, it was really fun. And I remember that once they arrived in class after the weekend, they were like, "Oh, we were in a party," and then started teaching everybody how to do the Roda Africana. And it was like, I got so happy because they didn't, they took what I taught them to their lives. So, and they started teaching other people about Brazilian culture. And I think it was it really helped me to, I don't know, to think more on how to add those uh, cultural and artistic movements in classroom. That's all.
Very
Okay,
beautiful.
I want also share my experience about it. I think that music is a spirit that it doesn't matter what age our students are. Having an experience with kids, with adults, and also I have students, for example, in an online school who are 60 and more. And in this case, they are, let's say, fond of music. And one of our online schools, Skyeng, we have some lessons where in each lesson we have a song. And during the song, you can just imagine how our, let's say, grandmas and grandpas, who are my students, how they are singing and dancing while during the lesson. What refers to the kids, for example, about 2 years ago, I was working at small school in Armenia. It was a private school, and my kids, my students, were 4 or 5 years old. And as a greeting icebreaker, started use. There was a song, "Hello, hello, how are you?" This song it was, and every time when I entered the classroom, they didn't just wait for me to greet them. They started, "Hello, hello, how are you?" And it's so. And it was like an icebreaker, which we have been using during 3 months, for 3 months, while I was teaching them. And I think music is something that it can activate. Sometimes, for example, when I see that my students are very tired, I can just, for example, the song "Happy" I saw on your platform when you were sharing it. Yes, I just put it, they stand dancing while trying, or using it as for teaching grammar or something else. I think we have many songs which can be as a didactic materials for teaching something. Thanks.
Very beautiful examples, guys. I love it. See, you guys have answers. I'm going to refer to you guys are all English teachers, right? In America, we use the alphabet through music. I learned the alphabet like this: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. That's 4 measures of music that all rhyme. Da da na na da na da 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 na 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 da na da da na da da na na da 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 da. Right? I take away the words and you know what's happening. When we sing kids to sleep, we use lullabies. When we explain things that are abstract, like love, roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, so are you. We always use this. And I think somehow when we get a little older, it gets lost. But really, if you look at the fundamentals of utterance, the fundamentals of developing linguistic skills, it is heavily based on rhythm, tone, learning, receiving information, and be able to regurgitate that. Something I've seen Armin do very masterfully. He might take da 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 na 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 da na 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 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, then comes 11. You can use that same sacred rhythm to create a cadence or tone which now becomes more memorable. I have been asked by a lot of teachers to write some of their English lesson plans in rhyming format, because what happens is the students will remember the information quicker if it has a rhythm to it, like a song, than they will if it was just generic prose. So these are ways that you guys could write small poems into your lesson plans, come up with systems to create that rhythm and that rhyme, and to allow you guys to really dive further into it. Any other reactions or any other things anybody wanted to add? Those were great.
Piggyback on what you said, why that the ABC song was originally Twinkle Twinkle Little Star when we were babies. I'm sure some of you already know that.
Right?
So,
Da na na na. See, the same melody is why we're able to then translate something into a form of education. So why not all? There is a program called Fresh Prep. I'll write it in the chat that you can look up, where what they do is they convert lesson plans and curriculums into music. And there's also another one called Flowcabulary, which now artists are creating musical pieces to teach academic concepts. So I'm going to write those two in the chat. You guys can look up those. They also give some free examples.
I've just got an idea. Can I share it?
sure, Jean.
Okay. I was thinking about the creativity and create something new. I think sometimes the word creativity leads to create, and people think that create is something new that never existed before. But actually, creativity is more related to combination of things. So things we have and we just combine them in, and then in a different, we apply in a different context. And I was thinking about how can I create a problem with music and apply that in my classroom. And then I just had an idea with the earphones, because people are using more earphones nowadays, and that leads to hearing problems. Why we should bring like those kind of questions to our student, and maybe we can give them this problem and how can you solve that? And then we use language in order to solve that problem. And maybe one of after some research and gather information, they can create like Facebook posts or Instagram posts in order to inform people how to avoid those hearing problems that they got when they use earphones out loud. Yep, just a suggestion.
Like a public service.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, and that once again is one of the standards that was in the arts for media and education, because problem solving is a tool, right? We're engaging in listening, and how can we engage in active listening without using these external devices, right? Or to allow us to present a form where we're holding space for students to actively listen to each other's work and then create. I think a lot of times students are really asked to be put on a clock, and the long term, they're not given a long term, they're asked to give a long-term solution in a short amount of time, where what I think we have to look at our work is we are planting seeds. And as educators, especially if you're dealing with youth, very young, you might not see the seed you planted to grow into a tree. I used to get really bummed out after I came out of some sessions. I used to be like, hey man, I only felt like I connected to 4 students. And I remember one of my mentors told me, he said, why? You might not even know, but 6 years later, the student is going to remember something you said, and then it's going to apply to their life, and you're not going to be around to see that seed grow into a tree that then bears fruit, but you could have been part of that. And that really helped me boost my confidence to know that what I'm offering is valid, and that we may not see the results, just like who could imagine this tiny seed would grow into an oak tree, right? You know, but a lot of you guys are in the business, I say that loosely, of planting seeds, and you may not get to see the full results of what you are doing, especially when the children are still in developmental age. So one thing I could really suggest is keep that in mind and know that you may not see the results, but you can create an environment to do that. I'm gonna now pull up an example of some youth music compositions that were created pretty much either on a cell phone. I have the latest of technology, an iPhone 6. That's what I use. I have a 2012 MacBook computer that I'm on right now. So even though I am using technology, I am not using a $3,000 MacBook Pro. I am not using a $5,000 or $500 USB microphone. I'm going to play you guys an example of some things that were created very minimally. And I gave students some directions on what to do with a composition. And one of the students who wasn't doing quote unquote well academically took my voice and created a musical piece out of it that I'm going to show you guys. And he called that piece Possibilities. And he also was pivotal in designing the artwork for that cover. And we also distribute that music, so the music is available, and he published it, he released it, and now has ownership of his own intellectual property from being looked at as a student who has no focus. So when they turned him to me, I said he was actually one of our most productive students, and his song was called Possibilities. We didn't ask him to make a song called Possibilities. We did not ask him to use educational standards or even to use my voice. But I will play you guys what he created. Right now, give me a thumbs up if I hear the audio. If not, Armin, I'm passing it to you in the chat as a backup. but I will try. And then if I fail, my co-teacher will help me, and I will be vulnerable and make mistakes, guys. So remember that as you use the technology, you do not have to be perfect with it, but you have to be honest and open, okay? All right, I'm going to try to share it with you guys. Let me know if you hear it.
I do not hear it. Why?
All right.
Is this why the assignment is to read the composition of this 1 minute long sections?
It's Y's voice.
Create a melody, pick a key. And you could look up like scales, so if you pick the key of like C, you can get notes within C. So on the piano roll like C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. And just come up with 3 sections. Do your best to break it down and we'll share on Friday. I'm gonna share this as an assignment, so make sure it's like a new project for each one of you. And by the end of the week, we'll see if everybody's helping. And if you got any questions, please.
Pause it.
All right, guys. I will send you the official link so you guys can hear it at its full glory. But really, I wanted to show you guys how a student who was looked at as not able to achieve certain things, not able to have focus, was able to not only compose that music you hear, but draw artwork, really connected. And it showed that he was listening to the assignment. He was able to manipulate my voice and do things to it that I never even thought of doing in the software. Most other students just deleted my voice and created some music, but he integrated it in a way that was so unique, and it ended up becoming the intro to an album that we created. And he ended up creating the first and the last, the intro and the outro, which I thought was poetically appropriate. And he is now joined back again. And this happened last year when all the teaching went virtual. So he used that as an opportunity to express his voice, and he began collaborating with other students. Once again, this is a student who primarily stayed, I never saw his face on the Zoom. His video was always off. It took him about 4 weeks or so to just start speaking on the mic. He only communicated through the chat, right? And I thought this was a student that I wasn't really having a strong connection to. But after month 2, month 3, he started releasing his voice on the Zoom. And then he started drawing a image in Canva, a free software I know Armin has mentioned too. And he would change his background image to be an image that he drew. And I started to see this student blossom without it. The principal later informed me he did have his best academic semester during that time, which was not ever something I pushed upon him. I never said we are learning this to make you a better student. I just said, what do you like to do? And he said that this is what he wants to do, and I listened. And I didn't do a bait and switch. I just allowed him to create. But what did happen is something within him allowed focus to rise up in him. And then he created some academic leaps and bounds. And the principal came and asked me, what did I do? And then I said, I just listened to him. That was about it. But we'd be surprised how little that's taken. I want to give you guys a little bit of a glimpse into this software. You will get 3 months, 90 days of the advanced version for free. So if you want to use it as a tool toward the end of a semester where you know you maybe only have a couple sessions left, you can activate with an email address the free version fully, or you can use the basic version, which will give you some of the functions but limit some of the features. But I want to show you guys this is a tool, and I'm going to show you how I can easily put together some sounds in this without being a musician. You don't have to be able to do that to create. And these are tools that you can also have students leave their voice as notes. So remember, a student might not always raise their hand or answer in the Zoom, but they'll have access to this virtual studio 24/7, so they could leave a message with their voice saying, like how I did, and then they could then compose and arrange around that. So I think these are powerful tools that are coming in. I'm going to put the link in the chat, and then I'm going to allow you guys to take a look into it. And it's called Sound Trap. And the reason I say that this is a powerful tool is it is now being certified by educators and around the world, and it's starting to become a tool that is increasing student engagement, student productivity, and it has built-in tutorials on how to use it. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a glimpse into this. Okay, let me share screen. I know my audio is probably not going to share, but I will just hover around and do the best of my ability within the limitations that I have, because c'est la vie, right? That is life, right? I will do what I can do. I am screen sharing. You guys see my screen with some squiggly lines on it?
See it, yes, fine.
Okay, I'm going to make an attempt to play something. You hear that?
No, I don't know. Can you hear it off of your speakers?
Yeah, I hear it off of my speakers. I don't know why. But what I'm going to show you guys, I'll just go through some basic functionality. So this is all in my web browser, as you can see. It does not need a separate download. You just literally go to the website. And when you log in, you're going to get into something like this, which allows you to create an assignment or start a collaboration, right? I'm going to show you guys how it goes from blank. Pardon me that I don't have the audio, but you'll be able to follow along with something basics. And I'm gonna take my mic and aim it to the speaker to try to do some some background stuff. So you just click enter the studio, And what I would do is I can invite a student to this particular project, or I can invite multiple students at it so they can follow along while they're with me. And the first thing it asks me to do is if I want to create a podcast or music. Not every student's going to want to be a music maker. We can have students do interviews on this, like you guys are learning with Anchor. Very similar. And once again, no external keyboard, no microphone is needed. They can strictly do this off of the phone that they use, iOS or Android, or on a tablet, or on a Chromebook, or any form of thing that has an internal speaker. So I'm going to just pick music making for now, right? And what it has is right here, loops are sounds. So if there's an emotion, I want you guys to give me something. It could be a sound effect, a word. It could be a drum, guitar, piano. What is something that you are inspired by right now? And I'm just going to throw it in the search so you can see it. And then I'll hold my speaker up to the speakers to see if you guys can hear it. So throw something in the chat, guys.
Ocean waves. Something about the ocean.
Ocean, okay. Let's try that.
Let's see if something comes up with the ocean. Or
Okay,
harp.
ocean. Okay, I got a deep ocean guitar. I got an ocean bass. I got an ocean piano called Atlantis. We're going to take a listen to it. Pardon me, guys, if it's a little low. But let's hear what our ocean felt piano sounds like. Now, an activity that I can use with this is, can you describe what the ocean means to you in 1 minute? I'm going to do it first, and then I'm going to ask one of you guys to do the same thing. Ocean, water, wave, blue, swimming on beaches, shells. I left my soul in the ocean. This is a poem. I flow in waves of redundancy because I am lost in this ocean. And that's my piece. Thank you very much. I am passing it to someone
Encore.
who wants to give this a try. And guys, remember, you didn't have to be a musician to do what I just did right here. Who wants to give ocean a try? And this is a way you can pass the mic. And instead of blatantly asking students nothing over no music, you can engage with them through this. I want someone to create their ocean poem right now. Give it a shot. This is called freestyle or improvisation. I made mistakes. I didn't rhyme every line. I wasn't perfect, but I connected to a theme. All right? Who wants to give ocean a try? I see
You can
somebody.
unmute yourself and just share. Go ahead, John.
There is a little boat floating on the ocean. It flows quietly, smoothly. My soul connects to the boat. I want to flow smoothly and go deep down the ocean.
Clap, 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 clap. Why, if you share me this, I could play it for people so they could hear it, because we can't hear anything. I'm just letting you know.
Thank you. I'm going to share you the session.
Do you want me to give you my email? So this is something else that you can do with this.
Yes.
Could have it, and one person could share it with someone else.
Okay.
Go.
I'm going to pause this. I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you a link, Armin, to join my
All right,
group.
so check this out. Y is going to take his creation.
I'm going to share it with Armin.
You could actually share it with Jean. You could share it with different people, and they could join in and add a recording so that we could get different people. Oh, save that bad boy. We could get different. Otherwise, we're in trouble. We're going to miss the ocean. We got to go dive again.
All right.
You could get different people.
I'm going to now do this, guys. If you look into my groups, this is how simple it is. I'm going to add I'm gonna add Armin to this group right here, which is a real class that I am using this in right now. And I'm gonna add Armin. You want to be a student or a teacher, Armin? How should I add you as?
I
Let's
think
add
as a
you.
teacher, I want that power.
He's going for his privilege. So to add a teacher, we're gonna go on this. Let me give you a link right here to join. I want to paste it in the chat. So right here, da 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 da, boom boom boom. Okay, I'll make you a teacher. So I'm grabbing this link and literally, guys, I'm hitting copy. I'm going into our chat, and this is what I do with the students. I'm gonna paste this into the chat, and then they will be added to my group, and then I'll be able to tag Armin in this piece. So Mr. Kasabian, let me make sure that I got you right here in the chat. Wonderful, beautiful. Okay, to Armin. Da-da-da-da-dum-dum. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, I'm putting it right in the chat. Okay, so right here, guys, that link will allow you to join. So Armin's gonna click that link, and then when you click that link, Armin, let me know, and it'll either okay, and then it'll add you to my group. I should see him in the group.
All right, I'm in.
Okay, see, was that hard, guys? You don't need a music degree to do this. So Armin should now be added into my group, which is Spring 2021. And what is your soundtrap name, Armin?
I'm just gonna say yes. I have an account. I'm just gonna sign in. It's
Yeah.
armin.kasabian1.
Okay, cool. So let me know when it's signed in and you're fully in, and then I will show you guys how I add a student into that session that I just made. And
I'm in.
he's in. So I'm gonna reload this, and I would email this link to students, or I will share that to them in the Zoom chat. And then, yep, here he is, Armin Kasabian.
I
He's
see Camila's in there too. You got
yeah.
different countries represented. Nice,
All right.
Camila. Okay.
All right, guys. I'm gonna end up having, because the school paid for this. I gotta watch out. You know what I mean? I'm going in, but this is some extracurricular stuff, so I will let you guys rock as long as I can. But so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go back to my session, and then Armin, you let me know if you could share the audio, and then you're gonna try doing your ocean poem over that. So as I go back into my projects, I'm going right here, and then I'm just gonna show you guys literally. You're walking through this process. You're seeing it from beginning to end. And here it is, my project right here. It was Untitled. I'm gonna go into the studio.
Got a collaborator.
Yes, and then I'm gonna add a collaborator, and then I'm gonna allow him to do that. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the title of this from Untitled to Ocean. Ocean. Cool. I'm gonna hit this little blue circle right here. I'm gonna invite somebody who's in my classroom, and he is Armin. There he is. That's him. I hit invite, and it's gonna send the invitation to him. And now, guess what? I would be able, when Armin comes in, I'm gonna have a chat window in this web browser to be able to communicate with a group of students that could be on one project collaborating together. So just like how I invited Armin, you could do the same thing with a link to 10 students, 15 students, as many as you want. Okay, Armin, let me know when you got that link, and then you should be invited, and you should be able to come in, and Armin will now be able to see these 3 sounds, and we'll see if he could play them for you guys. And then we're going to ask him to do the exact same thing I did with his 60-second ocean poem.
All right, moment of truth.
All right.
So I got an invitation. I accept it. We're kind of showing you a way of collaborating digitally. Do I want notifications? Not right now.
Yep. And it'll show me when he gets into my session, or student will be entered into my virtual studio. And me and Armin and I could communicate this way. Or once again, students could communicate. They could post lyrics here. They could write ideas, as well as make constructive critique and positive reinforcement. Okay, so when Armin is in, I will be able to write him. And then let me know when you're in, brother. Dude.
Loading, loading, loading.
Dum dum
Okay,
dum.
if I don't share, it'll load quicker.
Let's see what's going on.
All right. Well, we got the idea. It's loading very slowly.
Okay, well, it's a little bit hard when they're on Zoom, but remember, once again, guys, this is something they have access to outside of the classroom. But this is a way, with my voice, I can leave an assignment here. Give me 3 questions, a prompt question in here, and use the 5 senses to answer that, right? There he is. He's in here. As you see, my screen, he turned into a purple smiley face with a green dot, and I could say, hello. And then now this becomes a way for students to communicate. So Armin, if you can now, can you try sharing this audio with the group and then doing your 1-minute ocean piece?
Should I record it or just play it?
Go ahead. Whichever you feel. You can try to record it. If you can record, you can add a new track and then pick voice. Give it a shot.
It's so slow that I think I'm just gonna play it for now. I don't want to make things any more complicated.
No problem. Oh, I'm hearing the music though.
Cool. There it is.
There it is. And now Armin could manipulate the sounds and add something to it that I didn't add. And now we are collaborating. He could be in Africa, I can be in Jamaica, and we could be literally collaborating worldwide, guys, with just a web browser.
Could Juliana share what she did? Juliana did this project with about 30 students.
Of course, please.
I don't know if Juliana's still here. Are you here, Juliana?
Yuli.
Yes, I'm here, but I have to look for that.
Don't worry about it. Just tell people about what you gave as a task. You don't need to show it. It's too much. Just tell them how you use this for your class. I think they would be interested.
Okay, let me look for that.
I could find it. I probably have it, but I just was saying if you could share how you used it, I think they'd be interested.
Yeah, it was for a project that I had with Armin. I invited Armin to it was a training about how to enhance literature through music. So Armin presented ways in which students can read or create projects reading, not only of course reading something, if not giving some music to what they were reading. And that was a magnificent project. I love that and still have it, but no here in the computer. I have that in my phone. Yes. But Armin, I think you are the one with the whole project.
Yeah, but I think that things are better when you do them with other people.
They are in public.
Yeah, I'll find it. I'll find it and I'll share it with everyone. But I think things work better when you combine forces with others. All right.
Okay, guys. So I sent Armin a link. Armin, please let me know if you can run that one up. So this is an example of something we did over one semester, guys. So what we did is we went over all the rules, the roles in music, from creating a concept to creating the music to storyboarding an idea to visualizing what a video would look like. And what we did is, instead of having the students create a million pieces, we focused on one piece from beginning to end, creating an original song, original piece of music, and an original music video that was addressing the theme of gun violence, which unfortunately this was after a shooting here in Brooklyn. It was a response. So the youth used their art as a response, and this was a group called Yo SOS, which is youth organizing to save the streets. Most of these students have come from a situation where they either have faced some form of incarceration or a family member, or have dealt with situations like that. These were the students that not a lot of people wanted to work with, and I gladly work with them. They're easily some of the most brilliant people I've met. And in this project, we did not make every student sing or make the beat. Some were focused on the directing role. Some were focused on lyrical content. Some were focused on body movements for the music video. Some picked angles and lighting. But this way, everyone was allowed to shine in their own individual way to be part of a project-based work that is larger than them. So Armin, if you can please play that and let me know if that works. Or maybe I can even upload the video file to this Zoom chat. But I will give the link. The link is there for you guys to watch it on your own in case the audio does not play clean. But take a look at that and you'll see how I've been able to once again work. These were all high school age students. I think they went up to 18 or 19 in this from different places as well.
All right. Well, I got it here, but unfortunately, it's not opening. Not because of you, but just because of my connection. It's very slow.
Okay, no worries. Let me try to load the actual video and see if I could switch my audio to Zoom on the output. Da-da-da-dum. Okay, let's try this. I'm gonna see if I can play the downloaded version from my home computer and then give you guys that. But if not, you can look at the YouTube link at your own time, and then I will show you guys an example of a full-on project-based work. Okay, desktop, C files, no SOS. All right, I'm gonna try to share it, guys. I'll see if my audio comes out. I haven't been having too much luck with it, but fingers crossed. We'll see what goes on. Boom. Share sound. Advanced. Basic. Desktop 2. Audio is there. Share. Okay. You guys hear the audio?
No.
Nothing. Why? No. I think the only reason we don't hear it is maybe because of the mic you're using. It's not allowing it to hear speaker. Like, it maybe if you just use the computer mic. That's my only suggestion. But this is cool. They made their own music video.
All the pressure on me, I just had to get him. Now he buried up deep. I gotta get him, no love in these streets. I gotta get him, the kids on me. I gotta get him, yeah, I gotta get him. I gotta get him, no love in these streets. I gotta get him, the kids on me. I gotta get him, yeah, I gotta get him.
No sound anymore.
I just had to get him. Now he buried up deep. I gotta get him, no love in these streets. I gotta get him, the kids on me. I gotta get him, yeah, I gotta get him. I gotta get him, no love in these streets. I gotta get him, the kids on me. I gotta get him.
So I
All right, why? I think that
all right. I think we got it. We got some of it. You guys get the idea. You can click the link that I sent in the chat and you can watch it fully on YouTube at your own discretion. But this is an idea where the same concept that we went over and the same basic fundamentals, the students picked all the sounds. And mind you, these are not music students. These are not kids who rap or make beats. These were just regular students that, given the time, had a theme that they wanted to express an idea on. And over the course of one semester, 2 days a week, they worked collectively on this project. And with using very minimal equipment, we were able to allow students to understand the full process of writing a song, producing a song, composing the music, and directing a music video. And through that form, once again, every student's academia went up as a byproduct. We did not tell the students, you're doing this to be better in school. It was just their focus, their attention to detail, their wanting to come to the site increased their attendance. As simple as that. The fact that they knew music was 2 days a week was enough of a motivational factor to increase their attendance, which then increased their retention ability, which then increased their grades. This is not us telling them, make a song about this. This is what they wanted to express. So I really want to hammer home the point to you guys. Allow creativity to take you on a wild journey. Allow the arts and allow the students to lead. I made so many mistakes in this. Look, I couldn't even figure out how to get the clean audio, but I'm here with you guys. And it's through radical vulnerability and honesty and truth that I'm able to make a connection to you guys and these students, hopefully, and this is not about finding the way that you do this perfectly. If you have a local artist you need to collaborate with, please collaborate with them. If it's poetry is your thing, or dancing is your thing, or drawing is your thing, step forward with what is honest to you. And allow the students to step forward with what is honest to them. Even though only 5 students did lyrics, 4 or 5 students did lyrics on the piece, there were over 12 students involved in this project. Whether they were doing the music, or they were choreographing a shot, or they picked a location or an outfit, they were all involved, and they were all respected to be involved in the way they chose to be involved. Not everyone was asked to come up with lyrics or to sing or to dance, but anyone who wanted to was allowed to do so. And what happened is, in everybody learning about the process instead of focusing on creating a product, it gave everybody a grand insight to it, to that they all felt proficient. And when I was working with the site wanted me to create 10 songs, and I said, no, I'm going to create 1 song. And they looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, well, I'm going to show them this whole thing from beginning to end in a project-based work. I'm going to show them how to refine their work, how to develop their craft, and share their craft with others, guys. So my website is filled with examples of work like this. You can definitely reach out to me in any form or fashion. I'm here. I do have... I'll put the link in the chat, and then you can hit me up on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm here to answer questions. I can get on a live stream with you. And also, they're going to share with you guys an excerpt out of a curriculum I wrote, which has several icebreaker main activities as well as reflection-based activities. We went over that in the last session I did, but today I felt the urge to kind of show it to you more behind the scenes, what kind of tools we're using to integrate music into it, how we're creating project-based work, how we're using things such as thematic songwriting and musical composition to create a platform for creative expression. And we are allowing this to be participant-led. And once they gave me the information, I followed suit to creating what they wanted to do. And in the process, I learned so much, and you guys will learn from your students if you keep an open mind and vulnerability in some of these tools. I want to pass the mic back to you guys for any more additional questions, philosophy. Once again, all this stuff is written out, and it's in there. I have a document on backward design and multiple intelligences. You guys can look at that and do your teacher thing like that, but I wanted to create a more humanistic connection with you guys, and just make sure it's really tried to represent the voices and the music of the youth as best as I could within our situation. So any thoughts, throw them in the chat. Anybody want to unmute, ask a question? I'm here for that.
Thank you, Y. It was inspiring to see what you've been doing with young people to help them feel more creatively excited about their personal interests, and also it sounds like it's had an effect on their schooling. And I think that we're so focused only on schooling or so focused only on my personal life that we don't allow the balance of the two. So I think that's great. Louise, would you like to comment? Because I know we're getting near time. Go ahead.
Oh, I think I was just going to say, because I think that a lot of people are kind of tired, and we're kind of in different phases of the day. We're going to go ahead, and instead of doing breakout rooms, we just want to go ahead and open up just a couple of minutes if anyone wanted to share something that they're feeling or an idea that they're inspired by, just to go ahead and take a moment to do that. I personally really like the idea of kind of collaborating across borders. So we'll put something on the Facebook group about that. That would be really fun to kind of explore Soundtrap, and we can go ahead and get an account and then invite teachers and hopefully make some cool sounds together. I really like that idea. So we'll go ahead and post that on Facebook, and that can be something that we do together. That would be wonderful. Just a few, did anyone else want to go ahead and share something or ask a question for Y?
Anything, guys, anything. Even feedback or criticism, I'm open to. I'll take it all. I'll take it all. I really appreciate you guys, and I know y'all have something. And I'm gonna trust in what my mentor told me, that some seeds were planted, even though I'm not hearing too much. But I'm gonna have to trust in the process. And look, and I'll tell y'all this straight up on vulnerability. Like, I faced self-doubt with this. I was like, oh my God, was my presentation, is this all right? Oh my God, the Zoom isn't working, the audio isn't coming out. But I trust, right? I have backup. Luis shared you the Google Drive with the resource folder and a copy of the curriculum. The links are there to the music and to the website. So I'm like, I have to bring myself back to a grounding experience to know that, things go as they do. And I think a lot of time as educators, we're very hard on ourselves because we feel like we have to, quote unquote, save everybody or do something. But really taking that information in ourselves and trusting in our process and our skills and your expertise and your ability to facilitate, once again, to try to make it easy and lean on each other for support. That's really, really the main thing, like Armin said, to take this thing of our personal life and our educator life and really blur the lines between those activities. Another activity I'm going to implore you guys to try on your own time is a very simple one that helps me with lesson planning. I take one list and I think of my skill set. This does not have to be musical. This could be, I'm a great listener, I'm a good communicator or whatnot, or I'm a good visual drawer. And then I list another thing of my purpose. A lot of purpose that I come from is dealing with mental health. Like, I had a father and my brother deal with bipolar and schizophrenic disorders. So like, I'm an empath. I'm a very empathetic person, but I'm also have a real heart for people who are kind of outcasted, the way my brother and father were through the medical system, and how they were judged. And growing up, I had to like kind of find a way for my own mental health to use art as a form of therapeutic expression for me. And I know that because I'm coming with that level of vulnerability, I'm not asking them to win a Grammy or to do anything, but I'm just asking them to show what's on their mind and spirit with a group and allow that to guide us. And I let that be the beacon of light. So, I hope you guys understand that you have the tools. And when you take those two things, your skill set and your purpose, you're going to look at where they intersect. So if I'm using sound for mental health, a simple icebreaker I could come up with is, can you give a sound and motion that describes how you're feeling right now? So I'm going to say this. I'm feeling a little anxious about what I've done. So I'm hiding right now, and I'm looking like this, and I'm saying because I'm kind of
I
self-conscious.
think that we are just analyzing. My friends will agree with me because it looks like a dance when the teacher at first teaches the steps and then inputs the music. In this case, we always have lessons. Yes, we agree. We have some lessons connected with music, but mostly majority of our lessons were without music. Now everything is confused as for me in my head, trying to input more and more music into my classes, into my lessons. I think my friends will agree with me. Now we are just analyzing and thinking how can we input music to into our lessons. Thank you very much. It was very good session.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. And remember, it can be an icebreaker, it can be background music, it can totally be simple. The simpler, the better, I like to say. It could be a motion or a sound, and implementing those. And please look at the examples in the curriculum. I have about 10 of them given to you with full activities, lesson plan, icebreaker, reflection activity, and homework. But I will let you guys read that on your own time, and you could always email me on any questions on that. But really, what we went over today is the fundamentals and the examples of youth work. I could talk about it till I turn blue, but I would rather show you the examples and allow you guys to dissect them and come back to me with any questions further. And thank you guys so much. Let me see if I can turn this light blue. There we go. I've turned.
Why?
Yes.
Why? Sorry, I have a question. You said that you gave like a twice a week class for them to come up in this semester with this thing that they did. What do you think I could do, like as a teacher in a language school? Like I cannot use like much of my time to work with something like that, but I really loved the idea, and I usually do work with a lot of songs and parodies and things like that, but I have to teach them something through music.
Yes.
But like to make to give them this tool for them to be more creative and work freely without tying them up to a vocabulary or a grammar or something. I'm trying to have another idea. What
Yeah,
can you?
yeah, that's such a beautiful question, love. Thank you so much. So what I do is in my lesson planning, you guys are going to see some of it in the excerpt of the curriculum. They are connected to academia standards. So the other thing that you're going to see is the arts and media one, which is the 52 pager that I pulled out with those 10 bullet points. That actually has your standards that you are going to use in your regular ELA. Of course, in different countries and places, the way they call it, but at least you will see it will give next to the code the description of it, like collaborative learning or problem solving and engagement. So what I usually do is I see where is the overlap by looking at that guidebook, the arts and media one, and then you'll see in my curriculum under the lesson, I highlight the academic standard that it connects to. And if you are not using the software in the curriculum that I wrote, is fully usable with just a pen. When I wrote that curriculum, was knowing that not all places are going to have the technology, but because we were on the Zoom, I said, let me show you guys the full spectrum, but how I am able to bring in those features without using the sound trap or the technology is through, you're gonna see in the activity, I will start a hand clapping, 1 2 3 4, ba bum 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 bum. I will do activities called the human orchestra, and then I will document some of the writing in Google Docs, and then what I will do is collect those student writings. And then, sometimes I know you guys might use Google Classroom or something similar. We collect all the writings, and then that is a way with just the sound of our bodies. And, the students will sometimes clap with sticks or their hands or their feet. And we use that, and we use this ability called the human orchestra. It's one of the activities you'll read about. And we turn the sounds on and off, and then we ask them at the end of the period to put their work. They'll either give me a copy, I'll take a photo of it, or I will have them write it in, and then we will then write the theme we revise that theme, we memorize it, and then we perform it in front of the group. So even by using those same techniques, once again, I know I speak a little fast, it's the New York in me.
No, go ahead.
It would be, once again, creating some form of rhythm that we could record on a voice note or something that we could upload and email to the students. So maybe the classroom for 2 minutes might go something as simple as boom, 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 boom. And then I will record that and I will play that back. And on top of, just like how we did the ocean poems, right? I will collect, maybe I will ask them to write 4 lines connected to a theme. This maybe could be like sound or words or whichever you guys connect to your theme. And then from there, I will take their basis, put that into Google Docs, share each other's work with the class so they could read peer-to-peer learning, another one. Then they come by and they revise it. Maybe session 2 or the next day, they will take those 4 lines and maybe edit them or share them with the group. And then after maybe another session or 2, they will memorize those lines and then share them in front of the group, which then goes into the memorization. Now this is where you can get creative and include your keywords and vocabulary words. So when I've worked with certain teachers, they will arm me with what they want to get through. So they will say, well, why we need to go over the 50 states, or we need to go over the 3 states of water, solid, liquid, and gas. And we will have those as definitions and say, implement this into your free writing or implement it into a poem or a songwriting lyrics. But when they're given the guys to do this under the premise of a song or a poem, they tend to approach it with a way more free approach than if we were to ask them to write an essay and didn't play any music in the background. So I don't want to say it's a bait and switch, but this is a way that by you creating whatever you can, emailing it to the students, using that as a basic foundation, even if it's as simple as a foot tap and a hand clap, and then allowing that to be the fundamental for the students, and you guys creating a bubble diagram. It's also in the curriculum. You'll see I might pick a theme like life, and then we'll connect it to certain keywords, and then I will make sure certain vocabulary words get instilled. We will go over definitions, but what we're changing is the approach and their way of still refining and doing that. And trust me, when you see the memorization, the refining, and the thematic learning, you can connect the dots using some of the educational standards that are within the guidebook that I provided for you.
Fantastic.
Thank you. That is such a beautiful question because, yes, we have limitations, but also this is where we have to be more creative, right? When there's more limitations, we have to get more artistic. The left brain and the right brain work together. That was such a beautiful question, and I hope my response gave a little bit of an example of how to do it without some of these tools.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was great. Beautiful. Keep on asking, guys. You're the geniuses. I'm the student.
We'll be adding Y to our group, and he can definitely respond to any questions you have. But our goal this week for anyone who's really motivated to do something creative with their students that involves sound. So maybe for Vanessa's question, they're practicing saying a certain word or certain words with some music or some other better idea than what I just said. But we want you to do that. And if you're looking for someone, maybe you can find someone in our community who you can do something with, other students. But I want to respect everyone's time. It's almost 9 here in New York. Why it was so great to have you share all your experiences with us. I put a form for those who want to give Y and all of us a little bit of feedback. Is there anything else, Louise, about signing up for the podcast you want to add or anything else? Because it's morning for you, Camilla, but someone here in New York or in Brazil, we've done like a whole day already. It's nighttime.
I know. Thank you to everyone in Brazil. It's almost 10 p.m. But this was wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And let's give Y a big round of applause.
Y.
I always learn so much, just different sound trap. I didn't know anything about that. And also just kind of keeping all of those multiple intelligences fresh. It's so necessary to do trainings like that. Just a few quick announcements. So you should have the attendance form link in the chat. So make sure that you go ahead and you do the attendance. Second, we had 83 people sign up for the free Pixton account that we're giving you. So if you're still interested, I will link the sign up form, but I've seen so many cool examples and we want to just keep on seeing them. It's so rare that we're able as educators to get free ed tech, and part of this event is we want you to have access. So here is the Pixton account registration form and the link in the chat. And our last announcement is going to be that we are starting a podcast. This is just another extension of creating a global educators collaborative platform so that more people can meet, learn about each other, and hopefully work with each other. We hope that what we talk about here on Zoom doesn't stay on Zoom, but maybe starts an idea for Jean to start a project with Vanessa in a different country, and then to involve Brian and their students and kind of keep building up momentum based off of dialogue and just getting to know each other. So we'll go ahead and I'm just going to share this link here. It is a Google form for you to sign up. And on the Google form, it gives you an idea of potential questions if you want to change or modify things, or the conversation goes in a different way. That of course is welcome. But our main goal is that we just make something short, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. You'll see that in that Google form, Armin and I do an example. And we've already done 2 podcast recordings thus far. And it's just really interesting, not only to record, but also to listen to. We get to hear about sounds that happen in the background about where people live, kind of learn more about their day, where it is that they're going next. But we really focus on questions regarding how has education changed during the pandemic, and where do you think education will go? Some questions are a little more philosophical. If you had to describe education as an image, what would it look like? So we just want you to be thinking and processing, and hopefully join us in our podcast. So if there are no other questions or doubts, again, please fill out attendance, register for Pixton if you would like to you would like us to get you that free account, and register for the podcast if you're interested. We would love to collaborate and hear from you. Armin, am I missing anything?
I think it's good. We're just going to encourage you to keep being creative this week with your students and share whatever you create. I made a sample of what I was thinking of doing with my class based on what I learned today. And just keep sharing and creating. Thank you, everyone. We're just going to say hasta luego. Hasta luego.
Ciao.
Good morning and good evening.
Yeah, good night or good morning.
Bye-bye. Yeah, good night.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Goodbye.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Juan. Well done. Bye, James. Thanks for coming. Bye, Ronnie. Bye, Rashid. Bye, Camilla. Bye, Nirmala. Bye, Saima.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Josieli. When you sign up for the podcast, let us know your time. Hey, I'm ready. We'll send you the link. Okay? So don't worry about that. Just let us know. Peace. I'm shutting down. Time to get away from